Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolph. I have with me Krista.
Hello.
And Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And it is now November 2019. And what 3D releases can you expect in this month of November? So, let's start off with the 3D movies. We got one movie, and it's a big one. It's probably going to be easily the biggest animated movie maybe the rest of the year. Frozen 2. Now, Krista, you're still reviewing this, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Are you looking forward to watching it?
I actually am. Like, this is kind of my thing, so I think I'll like it.
So, the newest trailer, it looks good. It looks like they're really building up the story. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the first one was such a delight. And why it didn't get a US 3D release is beyond me, since this was like one of their biggest animated films of all time.
You're kidding.
No, I wish I was.
That's so stupid.
I mean, talk about leaving money on the table.
You're referring to the 3D Blu-ray release, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Frozen did not get a 3D Blu-ray release in the United States, which is mind-boggling.
Now, I saw the 3D trailer for this in front of Maleficent, and it looks really damn good in 3D.
Mm-hmm. It sure does.
I think I saw the 3D trailer in front of Gemini Man.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I thought I liked the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving you more story, more characters. I mean, I've seen several different trailers. I mean, the new ones are a lot more interesting than the one where Elsa's just trying to run up a wave.
Yeah, the teaser trailer that kind of did nothing to anyone.
Yeah, I kind of feel this way about a lot of teasers. They don't give you enough to intrigue you, just enough to frustrate you.
So, yeah, that's the big movie. It looks like everything got out of its way, which is smart for movie-wise. You do not want to get away in the way of a big release, and this is obviously going to be the biggest release, in animated movie this month. Now, there's another movie that is not in 3D, which is kind of weird. Snow Dogs. It's like a environmental movie with a fox that wants to help out. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Jeremy Renner's.
I do.
Jeremy Renner's animated movie. I think he's even singing the theme song.
What? Okay, genuinely, what is the point of making a 3D CGI movie but not releasing it in stereoscopic 3D?
They don't have the budget, and I would check to see if this is getting a 3D, a stereoscopic release somewhere else in the world.
It might, but like Jake says, all you have to do to get 3D animated movies is hit a couple buttons on the computer, and that's it.
And you will get competent 3D. But one thing I like about Pixar, they do a little more than hit a couple buttons.
It's an exaggeration for comedic effect. We're not really being serious.
Yeah, exactly. We're not diminishing the skill in these. We're just having a little goof. So chill.
Another notable movie that's not in 3D coming out in November is Terminator Dark Fate, which it may come out in other parts of the world in 3D, but not in the US. And so,
yeah, we're getting Hobbs and shot on this.
It's just a shame. Which is, you would think James Cameron, now who owns the rights to this, he didn't direct it, but he produced it. You'd say, yeah, definitely film that in 3D, in high frame rate at that, but I guess not. So,
well, he's not the biggest fan of high frame rates for a complete movie, and I saw trailers for Dark Fate. It looked fine. So I'm just as stunned. I mean, sometimes I'm now starting to wonder if I'm hallucinating because I'm seeing all these 3D trailers for movies, and then then just before release, all of a sudden, that doesn't say there's 3D. So am I like so starved for 3D? I'm now imagining it. It's what it feels like sometimes.
Now, our unofficial foreign correspondent, Patrick, he talks to me on Facebook all the time, and he actually said in Malaysia there seems to be a 3D option, so it might just be Malaysia or China or something, but not for the rest of the world, which is really disappointing.
Mm-hmm. So we might get a home release. So those that have systems at home with an all-region player, even though most 3D releases seem to be all-region, you should be able to track it down and purchase it possibly, like Hobbs and Shaw is getting home releases.
Which we'll get to in a minute. So, next up is Nintendo 3DS video games, and nothing official. There's been some random 3DS games coming out, but it's really small stuff. So, if there is something coming out next month, I don't know it, and that may change. So, let's go on to 3D Blu-rays, and we got quite a few here. So, Krista, do you want to try to pronounce the name of the first one we're going to talk about?
La Princesse de Glaces Le Monde de Mirrors Magiques, which is just like basically the Princess of Ice in the world of magic mirrors.
Which is a animated movie released in France. It's coming out November 6th. It's basically a Frozen clone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going back to this the Snow Queen story that inspired Frozen.
So there are definitely some Snow Queen movies out there that, like, even though ostensibly they're the same origin story as Frozen, it's a completely different story because Frozen really does not match the original fairy tale whatsoever.
That's not surprising with Disney.
So, yeah, I actually watched the trailer for this before we recorded, and it was actually kind of interesting. Basically, the animation looks good, and, there's like a magic, mirror door portal that goes into another dimension, and, like, the main character, I guess, and her family go in there, and they're trying to figure out how to get out, and it seems interesting. It's all in French, so I don't understand anything that's going on, but it's interesting.
Okay, so for those that are French impaired, that may be an issue.
I assume it might have English subtitles or English dub or something.
It could. The French, you never know. Sometimes they provide subtitles. Often they have forced subtitles on their home releases.
This, might be one of those things you might pick up at Walmart for $10. It just so happens to come out the same week as Frozen 2 here in America. And, parents are like, that's good enough. You don't need to go to the theater for. Watch this, kind of thing. We'll see. So next up is Lion King 2019. I liked The Lion King. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought the 3D was nice, but not amazing. Did you guys see it or no?
I missed it in 3D because there was just so much. There was so much. I didn't see it. I just said for what it would cost me to go see it, I might as well wait for the disc somewhere.
So it's coming out to the United Kingdom on November 18th. So it should be pretty. I thought it was fine. It's kind of one of those things you want to show off. Kind of movies. So. It definitely looks fantastic. So, next up here is a unicorn of sorts. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, coming out November 21st in South Korea. Jake, you watched this movie. How's the 3D?
Well, in the trailer, it looked really nice. Enough so that I am picking up the German release.
So it never came out in 3D in the US. It got pulled right before it released, which is ridiculous, but whatever.
Yeah.
Krista, do you have any comment on this?
I mean, I never watched it, but yeah, dumb that they pulled 3D in the US.
So we got one more movie, 3D Blu-ray, Long Day's Journey into Night. This is a Chinese movie, I believe, by Bai Gan. It's like really famous for having like an amazing one shot, or the whole movie is like one shot or something like that. Coming out November 26th in Canada. Have you guys heard about that movie before or no?
Just a little bit. But when I tried to Google it, I kept coming up with the O'Neill story. So, internet's not hip to this.
Krista, you got anything?
I'm not. I don't.
All right, so I watched the trailer of it, and the trailer had it subtitles, and it basically is like a detective murder mystery kind of thing, but there's a lot more to it than that, and I don't really know that much more, but it's supposed to be a pretty big hit and big critical movie when it came out in Asian markets, but it never came out in the U.S., so, I mean, it's still not coming out in the U.S. on Blu-ray, but
sounds might be worth checking out. One of those rare times where you buy a disc sight unseen, which seems to be more common now with Asian releases, because fewer and fewer theaters on the West Coast are running first-run Asian theaters.
So, yeah, I think it might be one of those cool sleeper hits, you know, the kind of thing that, you know, hipsters will talk about and be like, oh, you haven't seen Long Day's Journey into Night, you know. But it should be probably a really great movie. It looks really good, you know. So, yeah, I guess that's basically it for November 3D releases. You know, it's kind of weird because it feels like a lot of months lately, it's been hot and cold. Like, we basically get, you know, lots of 3D movies or none. And this month we get one huge 3D movie, and then next month we get 3. You know, it's kind of weird. But I definitely think Frozen 2 is going to be a big hit, and I think it's going to be a great movie, and I think the 3D is going to look great from what I've seen in the trailers. So I guess that's it for us. All right, before this podcast ends, I want to give a thank you to my patrons. Right now, we have one patron, which is David from Spain, and I want to thank you for your financial support. All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a little bit everywhere. Just look for us, 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.